Bootleg, official, and custom figures of Ahsoka Tano. So which one's the best? Let's discuss the pros and cons of each of these figures, as well as where I got them, and which one is the best of the lot. Let's go. Let's start off with the official Ahsoka Tano minifigure. This figure came from the set 75158 Rebel Combat Frigate, and it's the only time that LEGO has ever made a Star Wars Rebels version of Ahsoka. Now, I think the figure itself is awesome. Reusing the Shaak Ti headpiece for her Leku or Montrose was a great choice. And it's nice to see that the headdress is subtle enough that it could easily be used on other custom figures if you really wanted it to, which unfortunately wasn't the case with the Shaak Ti figure because it had that sort of head printing that aligned with her face. It kind of only really worked on her. Now, the figure captures her look very well. Maybe it could have used some arm printing to mimic her gauntlets, but in all honesty, it's a small enough detail that I don't really mind it missing from the actual figure. Otherwise, I think the torso printing and the head print are perfect. It captures the character brilliantly. Now, I know some people have had complaints about the dark orange colour that's used for her skin, because every other version of Ahsoka has the orange colour being used instead. And I don't know, when you compare it to Star Wars Rebels, she normally has pretty bright skin, especially because the color palette of Rebels is really bright, so it kind of doesn't make sense. Still, I don't really mind the color change. I personally think it's just kind of a minor issue, but yeah, it isn't as accurate. Now, the same can be said for her lightsabers as well. In Rebels, they're white, but in the set, they're this sort of slightly lighter blue than your typical blue lightsaber piece. Now, maybe LEGO was basing this off of official concept art at the time, and it was later changed, and it was too late for LEGO to change the color. Who knows? But still, official trans-clear lightsaber pieces do actually exist now, so if you really wanted to replace this, you could. Now, while I love this figure, one big issue is the price. If you want one today, be prepared to pay a lot of money. It's unfortunately not cheap at the moment, and the price just continues to increase. And it's a fan-loved character, so, you know, there's high demand as well. So now, I like this version of Ahsoka, but let's compare it to a knockoff figure. I've never really been a big fan of knockoff or bootleg or clone brand minifigures. It's often the case because the quality is low, like really low sometimes, and often companies who make these minifigures just straight up steal designs from other artists without consent. So with all that said, is this figure better in any way? Well, first off, it does have a lot more printing on it, much more than the official one did. This one has arm printing, and printing that stretches across all of the legs, including the back and even in some of the gaps as well. And look, that in itself is actually quite impressive. And it, you know, does look pretty nice. But does this actually make the figure better? I don't know. I know some would say yes, because more printing is always a good thing. And people just like seeing higher levels of printing on minifigures these days. And look, I can totally agree with that. I mean, you look at an official minifigure like the Silver Centurion Iron Man minifigure. This is a hugely loved minifigure in the community because it has such insane levels of printing that you've almost never really seen on any other minifigure. It's gorgeous. But I personally don't think that every minifigure needs this level of printing. For example, a character like Ponda Baba from Star Wars. When you look at how he actually looks, he's just wearing kind of plain old pants and boots. And the actual minifigure more or less reflects this. Do we really need leg printing on that? Not really. And from a certain point of view, I kind of feel the same way with Ahsoka. I kind of like the simplicity of the official minifigure, that it has slightly less detail. There's something about that has this certain LEGO charm and style to it. And also, I think the missing printing isn't super crucial to her design. If she doesn't have the gauntlets, it's really not the end of the world. They're not a massive part of her character, for example. I mean, when we look at something like Spider-Gwen, she has her signature blue ballet shoes. Now, no versions of the official minifigure so far have ever had this printed on the feet. And personally, I think they really need to include that in a future design because it's actually a big part of her look. Plus, the pop of the blue, I think would really make this minifigure look a lot less bland and a lot more accurate as well. So long story short, I don't think high levels of printing are always needed on minifigures unless it's a crucial part of the design. This is just my opinion. So personally, while all this printing is very nice, I don't think it's all super crucial. So the plastic quality of this figure isn't really the best. You can kind of see it in some of these images, honestly. But I have had other bootleg figures that barely fit together or break super easily, so this is better than others have been. One thing I do love though is the Leku piece that comes with this figure. It's not based on any traditional LEGO molds, but it does actually look pretty decent. I think it works really well as a Season 7 Ahsoka headpiece, because the official one gives her the very long montrals, which don't exactly fit the size that they are in the finale of Clone Wars. And this is that nice sort of in-between of her younger self and her older self, and I think it actually works surprisingly well, especially here when I put it on the original figure. It looks really, really good. Another pro of this figure is the price. I paid $3 for this. And when you compare it to the insane price of the official figure, that's really, really good. Plus, I think it's also awesome for like younger kids and stuff who just want an Ahsoka figure to play with, but don't want to spend hundreds of dollars, or worse, spend hundreds of dollars, play with it, and completely ruin the value of the minifigure. So yeah, the bootleg figure is just okay. The official figure, I love it. But what about a custom figure of Ahsoka? Well, if we're going to talk custom, let's get the best of the best. This Ahsoka figure was sold as a collaboration between Bagels Studios and Legend C Mock. Both of these creators have incredible, high-quality figures, and when they collaborate together, you get the best stuff ever. The figures I'm showing you now are other examples of their work. I unfortunately don't own any of these, but I would certainly love to. And man, they're just beautiful works of art. Now, this specific Ahsoka figure was the first release that these two did together, and it also came with this additional expansion pack that included Morai the Owl and some other additional accessories to make an incredible figure based off of her Rebels look. Sadly, I never bought the expansion pack. Wish I had. But let's take a look at this figure and some of the incredible things in it, like this awesome custom hood and Leku piece. Obviously, this is based off of Ahsoka's look at the very end of Star Wars Rebels, and it also includes her unique staff that can also be seen in the finale. Now, the printing on this figure is absolutely insane. So it has arm printing, 360-degree leg printing, and now, while I said before that I didn't really feel that these sorts of details were super necessary, I kind of take back everything I said when I see this figure. LCM and Bagels have perfectly captured that beautiful Lego charm with the printing on this figure. If you told me this was an official figure, I'd believe you. It looks so legit. Other custom figure companies like Engineero, for example, they make brilliant figures, and I also love collecting them. I don't want to badmouth them at all. I love their stuff. But they don't always match the quality of printing that official Lego figures do. And that can be very difficult because Lego is a multi-million-dollar company, so fair enough. Engineero's stuff often has kind of like facial details or textures on the printing that just don't quite feel right with Lego. But that's not a problem on this minifigure. It's really hard to tell whether or not it's official because it just looks so good. This figure does what others simply just couldn't achieve. It's nice to see the bright orange skin tone return on this custom figure. It works really well, and if I do place the hood piece on the official figure, it doesn't look as good. I think the bright orange really does pop nicely and is just the way to go. The figure also has some custom lightsaber hilts that match Ahsoka's Rebels lightsabers. Now, personally, not as big a fan of these. I kind of just prefer official Lego lightsabers. Now, I'm probably alone on this one. I'm sure others would disagree with me here, but I've always liked the charm of official Lego figures and guns and other things because, I don't know, there's something nice about that official kind of Lego look that just makes me happy in that sense. Seeing this kind of hyper-real look starts to take this figure away from feeling like actual Lego and instead being more of like an action figure. There's just too much detail going on, you know? I see this on other custom figures as well. Sometimes people go way too hard on detail and it just stops looking like Lego, and personally I'm not a fan of that. But I think the staff and everything else on this minifigure perfectly nails that Lego charm, and in my opinion, I love it. Now, in terms of accuracy, if we look at the scene that this figure is based off, Ahsoka is actually wearing different attire under her white hood. You can see it if you look at some of these images closely. But to be honest, I don't really mind. The printing matches her look in Rebels, and if you have the accessory pack and you get her Montrals on instead of the hood, you can create essentially a perfect Ahsoka figure, and you can easily recreate other scenes from Star Wars Rebels with this minifigure. So yeah, I kind of don't really mind. I think it still looks really cool anyway. So all in all, I think the custom and official figures are probably my two favorites. Not a big fan of the bootleg one personally, but I think if I have to pick a favorite between those two, it's got to be Bagels and LCM's figure. It's just so incredibly well made and is of just such a high standard. However, if you do want this figure, it's also very expensive, and sadly they aren't making any more. So good luck if you want one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at the differences between these figures. Happy building, and bye for now.